bag check for waves 1, 2, and 3 runners is now closing.
Thank you.
Legs feel like rubber. It doesn't matter. That smile hits your face because you just crossed that finish line. Congratulations.
Today's Friday, October 30th, which means Sunday is November 1st, which makes it the first Sunday in November, which means it should be the New York City Marathon. But this being 2020, it's not happening. So today I should be working at the expo, because I do that every Friday before the marathon. Hand out bibs, meet a lot of runners, have a good time. It's not happening. So this is the first year since Sandy that the New York City Marathon isn't going down. So I asked a bunch of my friends what they were gonna miss about the marathon.
But before we get to them, I want to tell you what I'm not gonna miss.
Marathon isn't all awesome. I'll tell you what I'm not gonna miss. I'm not gonna miss going to the bathroom in a porta potty.
Waking up at 4 a.m., long lines, anxiety about missing the train or the boat or the bus, or getting to my corral before it closes, or missing gear check, or one of a million other things.
I'm not gonna miss people saying you're almost there and you still have 6 miles to go.
But there's a longer list of things that I'm going to miss. And that's like things that have happened before the race, like the city getting dressed and ready for the big day.
The weeks leading up to it, when people are tapering and it's really exciting and you feel it in the air and the park starts changing to become the course with all the flags and you see all the banners on the street.
Like going for a run in Central Park the day they moved the Fred Lebow statue to the finish line to watch over the runners as they cross for the first time or the millionth time, or watching the construction of the finish line.
You can see all the people from different countries and different places running in the park. Everyone's very excited and I love it.
Or the expo. One of my favorite couple of days of the experience is the expo, handing out bibs to runners and answering questions about the city, where to eat, telling them that they can really get to the ferry whenever they want. Pro tip, it's public transportation. You don't need to pay attention to the time you were assigned.
The crowds. And while you may assume that I mean the crowds along the sides of the road, I don't. I mean the crowds at the expo. There's something really special about the New York City Marathon in the running community by way of people who aren't from New York. If you say, hey, am I going to see you in New York this year? Nobody questions what you mean about that. They know that you mean the New York City Marathon.
Or the day of the race. The excitement at the start.
I even miss taking the bus, to the boat, to walking, to the car, to sitting around for 5 hours. I miss all of those things because they used to be fun to do.
The sound of the cannon.
And Frank Sinatra singing New York, New York at the start.
And the cheering, the bridges, the blue of the sky is like nothing you've ever seen in New York before.
The energy on social media, the energy in New York, kind of feels to me like we're skipping Christmas.
Seeing 90th Street on 5th Avenue and knowing you're about to enter the park and the cheering you're about to endure. And then mile 25 and the shoot, and then Central Park South, and then the finish, and the ache in your hips and your thighs, and suddenly realizing that your toes hurt, and you probably have blisters, or you may have lost a toenail.
I'm not gonna miss losing toenails.
And getting a poncho or your gear bag and heading out to meet your family and friends.
I miss the crowds, the gel stations, the volunteers, I miss the medals, I miss Central Park.
I loved it all. I loved the early morning ferry, the start, hitting the island, the people, the support, the warmth, the love.
The expo, running through the boroughs.
The Queensboro Bridge. The turn onto that bridge where you just get silence, UVU, but with a soundtrack of footsteps. Some in unison, some like people are clapping to the beat of a different song, and the collective breaths, and you just and the slight give of the bridge where you feel the bounce underfoot from those of you running across it.
The crowds and all the positive energy that you get to take in all along the course.
All the way from Staten Island, Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, the Bronx, and back into Manhattan, the most diverse and amazing crowd in the world.
Running down Lafayette Street. The crowds come right up on you. It makes you feel like a rock star. It really is a feeling right out of this world.
When you come into Central Park at mile 24, you know you're almost there. That thrill, it gives you that energy.
Oh, sorry.
The inevitable tears of joy when you make that right turn from Central Park South into the park for the final time before the finish.
Crossing that finish line and just high-fiving someone and feeling that accomplished moment.
You did it. It all comes down to this moment right now.
The finish line. It's amazing and exciting, and you've got to experience it to understand.
Over the past couple of years, I've been fortunate enough to sit in the grandstands in Central Park at the finish line. It is such an electric experience to be there to cheer these thousands of runners on as they reach the end of their journey.
If I have to pick just one thing, the thing I'm going to miss most is you. Each and every one of you, all 50,000 of you, and the joy, the excitement, the tears, the relief, the full range of human emotions that you bring to the finish line. On Sunday, Marathon Sunday, I'm usually at that finish line from about the time the 3-hour marathoners start rolling through all the way until the end of the day when our final finisher reaches Central Park, usually around 10:30 p.m.
This was going to be the 50th anniversary of the race. Apparently there's some plan to celebrate it next year, but there's really only one 50th anniversary, and who knows what next year's going to be like, if it's going to happen, or it's going to be the year after. Look, I know it's tough, but this race and all of the marathon majors and large-scale races around the country are going to, and around the world, they're going to return. And when they do, I'll be first in line. Thanks so much for tuning in, folks, and I hope to see you at the New York City Marathon the next time it officially happens.